What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 12 of the Roots of Success podcast. I am your host, Nate the Great Peterman, and today I have a very, very special guest. I've known him probably for about a year and a half. My good brother, my good friend, Mr. Anthony Greatness Cotton. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Nate? The greatness all over the place. What's going on, world? Good to see y'all.
Hey, man, we feeling good, bro. How's the weather over there?
The weather today is good. Yesterday we had a little rain, a lot of wind. But today, sun is shining, beaming, making me feel good. Your end? How's the weather?
Oh man, you see the window, bro. We got sun shining in here. I mean, you feel me? I mean, it's typically clouds, but hey, man, weather's amazing today, bro.
Good.
But yeah, for those of you who might not know, who is Anthony? I mean, he's got like a middle name, Greatness Cotton. Like, what is this, right? Just a little intro. Basically, whether it be through speech, dance video, or the writing of children's books, Anthony Cotton is passionate about inspiring others to be great. He's danced on The Ellen Show, The Jimmy Kimmel Show, and the set of Baby Daddy. He's done a commercial for Sky Zone and performed speeches for well over 5,000 students. His new children's book, I'll Be There, was written to destroy stereotypes about Black fathers and is now available on Amazon. Wow, bro. Man, I mean, just reading that, I mean, it seems like you've already lived life. You feel me?
Tiny bit. A little bit.
I'm telling you, man. So, yo, tell us more, bro. Tell us, where are you from, and sort of the background about sort of how you grew up. And,
Right.
hey, man, I mean, how'd you get on all those shows for real?
Yeah, right. Who are you and how did you do that?
Right.
So, yeah, I'm originally from Denver, Colorado. Pretty much grew up in a single-parent home. My dad, I always said he did the best that he could, but it was up and down, in and out, and we're building a great relationship right now. But for the most part, it was a single-parent home. But my upbringing was cool because it's like the perfect storm. So from kindergarten to about 8th grade, I went to private Christian schools, like wear the tie. I was like always the only Black kid, like nothing else, just me, white kids, Asian kids, and all that. But the plus side of that is like I learned very young how to interact with different cultures, different races, and not feel intimidated or less than or more than. So like at a very young age, I knew how to just kind of operate in different rooms and not just be comfortable with my people or like stuff like that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
So that was K through 8. And then high school, I wanted to go to high school with all of my cousins. And they all went to a school called Montbello High School, which is the most ghetto school on that side of Denver, Colorado. Like that school literally got shut down and like revamped, and it looks like a prison. Like if you are ever back in Denver, I'll take you by there. It looks like a jail. So I had this great upbringing where I learned how to be book smart, how to be culturally aware and know how to interact with other people. And then I went to the school where there's like selling drugs, bringing knives and guns to school. But it was the perfect storm because I learned how to be street smart in high school, how to be book smart and culturally smart, so to speak, in elementary school. So it was just like this perfect blend of like life experiences. So that was my upbringing. And then when I turned 18, I was just, again, I'm from Denver. I was just like, I'm out. I'm going to LA. I dance. They dance. I like music. They like music. I guess that's where you're supposed to go. So I literally was like no plan, didn't know anybody, didn't know how that was going to work. I just boned out and just was like, bye, Mom. I'm going to LA at 18 and moved out there and lived there for 6 years. And that's where the dance stuff happened. I got signed to, I don't want to be long-winded, but I got signed to a dance agency and just kept being at the right place at the right time. Like, I don't want to pretend like I'm just like the super smart technical guy. Like, I went to the Ellen Show to watch. They were like, who wants to dance? I just happened to be a dancer, and it just happened. Went to the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Same thing. It just happened, and had these great experiences just from being in the right environment at the right time.
Wow. No, man, that's incredible. And it's funny, man, like, everything that you sort of mentioned, and it's funny, the past couple to few guests that I've had on the show, their story has sort of been similar, with them sort of growing up in not necessarily a bad environment, but not the most, non-toxic environment. It was definitely a very toxic
Right.
environment, it seems. And I can imagine, man. I mean, I was in Denver. I mean, I saw you a couple months ago,
Right.
chilled a little bit. And I mean, just the area out there, it's so different. I mean, obviously the high altitude and everything, but even the people, man. I mean, they're different too. I didn't really get to experience like anything bad. I mean, maybe I wasn't in the bad sections. I'm sure there are bad,
Right.
areas and sections,
Right.
but that's just, incredible seeing, especially with you going to LA as well. So, man, you said you went there when you were 18?
Yeah, yeah, I was 18 years old. And like the thing about me is sometimes I do things and I don't think that they're crazy. And then I look back and I'm like, that was crazy, bro. You had like $200. You didn't know anybody. You had never been out of Denver. And I was just like, I mean, besides vacation, but I never lived anywhere else. And I was just like, I'm out. And I think that kind of, we can call it stupidity, we can call it ignorance. That's kind of what it takes sometimes to be successful. You got to just be willing to do stuff that makes no sense and just be willing to jump and dive into it and just, hey, see what happens. And it always works out well.
Absolutely. So, what would you say has been with you doing that? What would you say is one thing that you gained, whether it's more knowledge of yourself, more awareness? What do you think that one trait that you strengthened more just by making that move with only $200 to your name?
Right. I think, and the fast forward, I now live back in Denver. I moved back here like 3 months ago. But I think moving to one of the fastest places in the world was like, I'm thinking like LA, New York, as far as America, those are the fastest paced cultures in our country. So it just taught me how to move, how to shake, how to, like, there's no time to talk about what you're going to do to 10,000 people and not do it in LA because you will be homeless. Go to Hollywood and see how many people are homeless and ask them why they're homeless. Because they had a dream, they had an idea, but they spent more time playing, partying, and getting caught up in all that than actually working on it. So in LA, I learned how to, I guess the word would be execute. So now moving back to Denver, I feel like if I survived in LA for 6 years, if I was able to say one thing and actually do those things in LA, then pretty much anywhere else, maybe besides New York, I'm going to be able to survive because I know how to operate. I know how to think it, plan it, do it. Period, point blank.
Wow. No, absolutely, man. I look at myself. I'm from a small town, and a lot of my viewers, to be honest, they are from a small town. I got a lot of
Right.
people that listen to this here in Pennsylvania, from the city I'm from, and I'm sure they might think, because a lot of people, they don't get to experience, because they're not always brought up, or they're not willing to take a risk like what you did, to go to a big city
Right.
and everything. So, what advice maybe would you give to them, or to the people that they want to do it, or maybe they just can't afford it right now, or maybe they're just sort of not as faith in it, right? They're more fearing it. What
Right.
advice would you recommend for them to just, hey man, like, just go out and do it? From being like from a small town or a small city.
Yeah. I would definitely first say don't talk too much about it. Maybe
Mm,
tell one good, solid person. Maybe don't tell your parents. That doesn't usually go well. Tell one good, solid person in your life and stop there. Because I think what happens is people spend so much time talking about it, and then they get on this high and they plan and they talk and they talk and they talk. So the first indication I know when someone's not going to follow through is when they need to call me and tell me for an hour what they're planning to do, opposed to taking that hour to break it down, to watch YouTube videos, to Google, I want to be a doctor. What are 5 steps to being a doctor? You're going to find millions, thousands of articles on 5 steps to being a doctor. So like I said, the number one reason or way I know that someone's not going to execute is when they call me and they want to tell me for 45 minutes to an hour what they're going to do, opposed to just taking that step. I don't want to make it seem too simplistic, but there's not many excuses with the internet. There's not many excuses with smartphones. There's not many excuses when there's libraries that have internet if you don't have it at home. Think about what that thing is that you want to do. And then I'll give you a practical step. Look up 5 ways to be an astronaut, 5 ways to be a veterinarian, 5 ways to be the next Chris Brown. Like whatever it is you want to do, think about it. Tell one person, get on your internet and look up 5 steps to making that happen. Write them down and then figure out how that works into your life is what I would say.
No, that's so true. I mean, you just laid it out, right there, what to do. I mean, we all have phones, right? I mean,
Right.
and if you don't have phones, I mean, hey, it doesn't mean that you can't network. It doesn't mean that you can't find like a mentor or somebody to actually learn off of. I mean, I think that's incredible, bro. So, with you being like, big into dancing and everything, sort of tell us more about that. Tell us, tell us a little bit more about that in terms of, I mean, shoot, man. I mean, you dancing on all these, shows and everything, like going on the Ellen show, and I think you were on Steve Harvey too, right?
Yeah, I didn't dance on Steve Harvey. It was like a little segment about life and my baby. So yeah, he kind of clowned me, but at least I can say I got clowned by Steve Harvey. That was pretty cool.
Right? I mean, Steve Harvey, one of the funniest dudes in the world, right? I mean,
right.
So I'm sure those are some experiences.
So definitely my dance journey. So, and I want to make this thing as practical. Like, I don't want to just talk about myself. I want to make this thing practical. So a lot of people will say, like, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm here for. I believe that if you can't just identify, like some people can't just say, oh, I'm good at this, I'm going to do this. Another way to identify it is not just by what you're good at, but by what bothers you. So from a young age, it bothered me to see people work a job that they hate and complain about. Like from a young age, I remember being at dinner tables and everybody's like, I hate my job. I hate my boss. That bothered me. It's always bothered me to see people not be who they were created to be in its fullness. So that's one way that I found purpose. And then, funny story, I got introduced to Michael Jackson at like 13. And
serious?
Yeah, it was maybe introduced at 8. I dived into Michael Jackson at 13. Let's say that.
Wow,
but it's funny because I run to my dad and I'm like, Dad, there's this new guy that I found. His name is Michael Jackson. He's like, what are you talking about? But anyway, I say all that to say, when I was talking about the things that bothered me, I knew that I wanted to see people live better lives. I knew I wanted to make people feel inspired and believe that they can do anything. And then I saw Michael Jackson do that through performing arts. So I was like, wait a minute. People are going to his shows crying. I've seen the videos where he's like, heal the world. We are the world. Like he's doing all this charity and all this positive work through art. So that's when the light bulb went off. Like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I want to take art because I've been dancing. I did my first talent show in 5th grade. It was just a gift. I can't tell you where I got it from. I was never trained. My parents can't dance to save their lives. It was just a gift that was installed. And then I saw somebody else, Michael Jackson, use art to make people feel better, to make people feel inspired. And from that point on, I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And I've been on a die-hard mission to make that happen since then. But, and I'm sure you're familiar with the term, the ability to self-assess. For a while there, I was doing it the wrong way because I thought I was going to be just like Michael Jackson, bro. So I'm like dancing and I'm singing at like city fairs and stuff. But bro, I can't sing. Like I have a terrible singing voice. So, but I had to realize as I got older, and this was some stuff I found out while I was in LA, like what are my gifts? How can I do this in a way that's unique to me? So while Michael Jackson inspired me, I can't do it just like he did because I'm not a singer. But I can use my voice in a different way. I know how to say words that make people feel inspired. So I merged dancing and speaking, which might sound weird, but those are the things that I was gifted with. And I've been running with it for like the last, I don't know how many years, 5 years.
Wow. I mean, you certainly know how to dance like him. I'll tell you that. I mean, goodness.
Yeah, I'll take that. But the singing, no, sir.
Man, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm a really big Michael Jackson fan. He's one of my all-time favorite singers and, of course, dancers as well. And just seeing what movement that he led It's just insane, man. And I wasn't even into him like whenever he was alive, to be honest. I was more into him like whenever he like passed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because I think there was a fact that came out. He sold way more albums, I believe, after he passed. Like he
Yeah.
was, I mean, so many people were supporting him, and that right there is what you call leaving a legacy, right? I mean, I know this is another topic for like another episode, legacy leaving and all that, but like truly, when you know somebody truly makes an impact, and when you know that just everybody throughout the world, they're not just like you know crying, or they're not just down and about, but they actually go and support this man that's no longer alive by
Yeah.
buying his CDs. I mean, I bought one of his shirts, buying the magazines. That's when somebody left such a legacy. So I guess to sort of, transition to that, do you sort of, I mean, looking at what Michael did, MJ and everything, would you like to leave somewhat of a legacy like that? Meaning, would you like to have a movement, maybe not as big as his, but
Yeah.
something that could just inspire the world? Because I mean, it wasn't just a nation. You got these singers, they inspire, Europe, or they
Yeah.
inspire like just the United States. But I'm sure somebody like you, I'm sure you like to do the same thing, but make it even worldwide, right?
Definitely, definitely. I want to, and maybe it's selfish, and I'm okay with that. Like maybe 10 years from now, I'll look back and say, hey, you were young and selfish for saying that. But I just can't picture being here on this earth, dying, and then it like never even, it's like it never even happened because there was no legacy. There's nothing to be remembered by. That's sad. I don't know if that's what we are created for. And some of us, like you said, will have a worldwide impact. I hope that I do. I'm not gonna lie. I want to have a worldwide impact. I want to see different countries and understand different cultures. Some of us are going to have an impact just in our communities, just in our homes. But whatever it is, I just can't. I would never want to live and never really live and then die and then it just be over and no one's ever like, oh, this person inspired me to be the best version of myself. It's not even like I'm gonna leave a legacy of, man, that guy Anthony was cool. Like, did you see how he dressed? Not, I mean, part of that is in there. I do want to be fly, but I'm gonna leave a legacy of, man, that guy inspired me to be the best version of myself. And that's something that can get passed on and passed on. Because I believe if I do the work to be the best version of myself, someone's going to see it. And they're going to do the work to be the best version of themselves. Someone's going to see it. And it's going to be this domino effect of people realizing, seeing somebody else doing it and be like, oh, I could do a lot more. I could be a lot more. This person looks like me. Or this person is from where I'm from, or whatever it may be. And that domino effect just rolls on and on. So part of it probably is selfish, but another part of it is I want to inspire you to be the best version of yourself. And I don't know what that is. Maybe it's chef. Maybe it's making the best houses out. Like, I don't care what it is. As long as you're being the best version of yourself. That's what the legacy I want to leave.
Wow. No, man, that's incredible. I think, if everybody looked at life that way in terms of legacy and what they want to make of it, I guarantee you, I mean, a lot of you'd be seeing a lot of come ups, to say the
Man,
least, man. Especially with like music and I'm sure with dancing as well. Like that would be huge. So let me ask you this, bro. So, um, if you being into music and dancing, I'm sure you get a lot of opportunities that get thrown your way, especially even speaking, right? So I'm sure you got to know which ones to basically, because you can't say yes to everything. I
right.
mean, you obviously have a family. You got to spend quality time with them.
Yeah.
Of course, with you just having a daughter here recently, I'm sure that's been a big transition for your life to really, get another perspective and,
Yeah.
and whatnot. So I guess for you, man, I mean, how do you know when to say yes and when to say no to just any opportunity? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is something that this like literally you and I have walked through this process together. So
Oh,
like
absolutely.
hand in hand. Like this is my guy, just so you guys know. Like it's deeper than just this one-time podcast. But anyway, my
Absolutely.
whole like I call it mental capacity and spending time with yourself to know how many tasks you can fit in your head at one time. How many people can you be there for emotionally? at one time. So I call it mental capacity. And I might contradict myself, but I'm okay with that. So I believe the human mind is capable of doing like stuff that you could never imagine, people have never heard of, people have never seen. I believe the human mind is capable of that. But if you are going to do the impossible, if you're going to do the things that people have never seen, you have to learn to filter what is a necessity, what to say no to, what to say yes to. Because like an airplane, for example, like you and I can get on an airplane from Denver and fly to Africa, no questions. The plane has the ability to take us there. But planes also have limits. Have you ever wondered why they don't just say, oh, we're going to pack as many people as we can on this plane and take these people across the seas? Because you can't take everything. If it was like unlimited amount of people that can fit on the plane, like you fill it until no one else can fit on, the plane is going to crash. The plane is going to burn out. It's not going to make it to its destination because it's taking too much on. So they have to have a limit. And I can't tell you what your limit is because my limit might be different. You might be able to take on way more tasks than I can. But I had to learn, like, there's like 3 major things that I'm trying to get accomplished, and I need to fill in those things. And it doesn't mean other stuff is bad. There's great opportunities that have come my way. But I have to think, is this opportunity going to help me get to that end goal, or is it going to kind of distract me and take energy and take time away from where I'm trying to go? And it's not just tasks. I'm learning it's people also. People, you have to realize, and you got to kind of be selfish, but you have to determine who in your life is pouring into your cup, who's filling you up, who are you filling up, and who's just draining you. And I don't know if that's something everybody can relate to, but I love people. I love to interact with people. I love to help people. But when it gets to the point where you need my help, and I'm giving you my help and my time and my energy, and you're still in the same place that you were 6 months ago, 2 years ago, I got to cut it off because I'm on a mission. I'm trying to get to a destination, and I can't take them. And it's people I love too. That's not the hard part. Isn't cutting off the people you hate. That's easy. The hard part is cutting off the people that you love on this journey to success, leaving those people behind that might be toxic. So yeah, I don't want to act like I have like this formula, like X, Y, and Z. This is how you do it. But I think it just comes from spending time with yourself and just asking yourself, what is producing life that I'm doing? Like, what in my life am I doing that is producing fruit, that I'm seeing results from? If I'm not seeing results from it, if I'm not getting any better at it, then maybe I need to and drop some of that weight that will help me get to my destination. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense, bro. I mean, to put it in blunt terms, you just gotta say, hey, we can't do this anymore. You know, I mean, if somebody's just that toxic to your life, and oh my gosh, I've been there, I've done that. I mean, whenever I'm back home here in Pennsylvania, I rarely go out. You know, if one of my boys, he's visiting from Europe, he plays professional soccer. I mean, I'll visit him. You know, that's it. Yeah, I'll visit him and everything because obviously, if somebody's playing pro soccer, you know, they got a pretty good mentality.
Yeah, they're a high level human being for sure.
Exactly. So whenever you said that, I mean, dude, I even think about whenever I graduated high school, man. I used to hang out with kids. I was a big gamer in school, and I realized I was like, am I really going to make a profession out of this? Like, let's be real.
Right.
I mean, some people do, but I personally just wasn't going to do that. So I said, Nate, I know, you know, you like to hang with these people. They're your homies. They're your boys, but it's time to just cut it. And Anthony, I'm going to be completely honest with you. And some of the viewers, they might think, man, this dude's crazy. But I literally, bro, like once I graduated, dude, I cut so many people off. Like I wasn't like, hey man, like we ain't talking again. I just never texted them. That's just how I was. And I don't know, call it messed up, call it what you want. But when you know what you want, and that's sort of what you were saying, when the vision is sort of clear and, you know, if people are helping you fill your cup, but if you know people that are draining your cup, like you said, I mean, you got to know what to do, and you can't be scared to do it either. Cause I feel like a lot of people, they just, I don't know, especially family can be one of the worst ones too. And obviously, you know, they're the same blood and everything, but man, have you ever had any issues with like family where you're just like, hey man, I gotta do me? Have you ever had anything like that? And if so, like, how do you go about that?
Yeah, that one is so real to me right now. It's crazy that you asked that because like I said, I just moved from LA back to Denver where I'm originally from. So when I'm in LA, I'm isolated. I don't really have to deal with the things that come with family. No one's family's bad. Everybody's family's a little cray cray. So coming back to Denver, I'm thrusted right back into the middle of things that whatever are not productive, are not filling my cup. Let's just say that. And how, man, now I really have to think how I've been dealing with that. Give me
Yeah,
a
for
second.
sure. Nah, for sure, man. Yeah.
I have had to get okay with doing, as long as I can look at myself in the mirror at the end of the day and know that I didn't do anything immoral, I didn't do anything disrespectful, nasty, rude, inappropriate. I have to be okay with that. If that means that I didn't spend as much time with this family member or I didn't answer this family member's call because I know that it's going to be gossip or drama, if that means I didn't go to that family gathering, I have to be okay with that. And I have to be okay with whatever they may perceive me as. Because I want to be perceived as somebody that's positive, spreading love, spreading hope, because that's my heart. But if me better, and I just posted this on Instagram, I said something along the lines of, if they guilt you for bettering yourself, they were never in your corner in the first place.
Deep,
So
bro.
even if me isolating myself makes you feel like I'm a bad person, makes you tell other people that I think I'm better, if that's the perception that's going to be, I have to be okay with that. As long as I know that those were not my intentions. As long as I know, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I just know I'm on a mission. And if you are taking away or hindering or blocking that mission, whether it be intentional or subconsciously, then I have to separate myself from that. And I have to be okay. I guess my answer would be you have to be okay with the consequences of isolating yourself. Because it's not like people, especially family, I'll be honest, it's not like they're like, oh, I understand. Oh, I get why you're not doing that, or I get why you're busy. It's more like, oh, you forgot about us? Oh, you're better now. Especially for me, like, oh, you went to LA and you're this big Hollywood star. No, I'm not this big Hollywood star, but I am very focused. And I am trying to do things that are going to produce life. And if you cannot put fertilizer on that, or at least help a brother out, I don't know what to tell you. And another thing I'm going to hit on, I don't know if this is a tangent, but I think in 2018, our temptation is just to be busy. Like, it looks real cool on your Instagram story when it's like, I went to the gym, then I had this meeting, and I had this meeting, and then I went to lunch with this person, and then I went to lunch with this person. And you're busy. And this is me. The only reason I can speak on this is because this was me at one point. I'm like taking these calls, and I'm like, oh, I'm networking, but I haven't made any more money from any of the calls. I don't know if I've gotten any smarter. I don't know if I've helped that person get any further along in their life. So I just wasted my time and your time. I don't have any more money. You don't have any more money. I'm not closer to my goal. You're not closer to your goal. But we can post that we just had this cool meeting. And I've been guilty of that. So I would say be careful with just being busy. Be sure that the things that you're doing, if there's not going to be a couple dollars at the end of it, or if you or the other person, don't make it just about you. If you or the other person isn't going to be 2 steps closer to whatever the goal may be, don't waste your time. And I've hurt people's feelings lately. Like, people have wanted to like hit me up like, bro, I got this idea, and I just can't listen. I can't listen. I'm like, send me a video, send me some audio, text or whatever, but I cannot sit on the phone for an hour to, like I was saying earlier, listen to you talk about what you're going to do. That doesn't even make sense. Why are you telling me? I'm not you. You have to do it at the end of the day. So lately, I haven't been rude, but I think I've offended people because I'm like, you can send me an email, you can send me an audio message, but we can't sit on the phone for an hour because that's taken away from your time that you could be Googling how to do it or figuring it out, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our best friends Google, like you said, just Google it, look it
Right.
up on YouTube, and no, man, that's wow, that's some deep knowledge, bro. I'm just over here listening. I'm like, man, I'm gonna definitely have to watch this a couple of times again, bro. Just with everything that you're dropping and everything, incredible, bro. So, tell me about this real quick, and I just thought about this whenever you were speaking. Um, how important is it to be surrounded around the right tribe or around the right community of people, of like-minded people? Has that
Mm.
been, very crucial to you really, I mean, speaking over in front of 5,000 people, getting on these shows? Has that been something that has really helped you out? And if so, explain a little bit.
Absolutely. Um, I if you are around people that are getting it, if you're around the people that are trying to be the best version of yourself, you're gonna autocorrect. Like I can't be around some dudes that are trying to be emotionally healthy, spiritual healthy, and grinding, and just be like out here super ratchet, like cheating on my wife or like lying and stealing to manipulate business. If I'm around other people that are conducting themselves in greatness, naturally as humans, we don't want to be the worst person in the pack. We don't want to be the jacked up one. So naturally it's gonna force you to take that thing up to the next level. But if you're around a bunch of people and you're the best one in the group, you have no reason to progress. You have no reason to better yourself. Because hey, at least I'm not doing that, or at least I'm not doing that. So you can stay on that same level and never grow, never progress if you're the most smart, most intelligent, whatever person in your group. So yeah, being around the right. Ask Kevin Durant. Ask Kevin
Mm,
Durant. And some people might be mad. Some people might be like, "Oh, he fake." Say what you want. That man got 2 championships back to back just by going around a different group of people. People that are trying to take. Steve Kerr played with Michael Jordan. Steph Curry, one of the best shooters ever in history. Say what you want about Kevin Durant, but look what happens when you get around the right group of people. You go from being the best player on the team and never winning a championship to being one of the best 5 on the team and then winning rings back to back. I don't know. You choose what you want.
right? No, absolutely, bro. I mean, I'm big into basketball and everything. Seeing Kevin Durant and seeing LeBron. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind LeBron's one of the greatest that have ever played the game. But seeing how he can carry a team is just incredible. What he's a living testimony of. You need balance. You need a
Yeah.
team. He had that with the Heat, with D Wade,
Right.
Chris Bosh and everything. Udonis has Mario Chalmers, and he had Pat Riley. One of the
Mm-hmm.
big time, one of the best GMs, coaches that ever
Right.
coached
Right.
basketball. Something I know about, and it's so funny we're talking about sports, but something LeBron I feel like has never had really, truly that Michael Jordan has is
Mm-hmm.
a coach, a Greg
Boom.
Popovich, right? A Phil Jackson,
Right.
and that's a living testimony, bro. I'm glad that you brought that up because it's so huge. Like surrounding yourself like KD did with Steph, Clay, Draymond, all of them, the team, seeing their bench players come out scoring the way that they do.
It's
It's
crazy.
just incredible. And now he's saying, hey, man, I'm winning MVPs. I want more than this. And it's like, when you get to that level, it's like you can always progress. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
where you're at, the Zucks, the Musks, the Gates of the world, like there's always room for progression. I just feel like, man, that's the beauty. Like what you were saying earlier, bro. Like, there's always you always want more, right? We have the power of a human being to do whatever we want, like you said,
Right.
right? And that
Absolutely.
that really hit home, bro, for real. So no, that's incredible. So let me ask you this, man. So first off, I mean, where can the listeners, where can the audience, where can they find you at on social media? Because I mean, you dropped obviously more than enough knowledge today, and I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that
Thank
the
you.
viewers are going to want to see more, and of course your dance videos and everything. So where can they find you at, whether it's your website or social media?
Yeah, social media, Anthony Greatness Cotton. Instagram, you can find me, Anthony Greatness Cotton. Facebook, you can find me, Anthony Greatness Cotton. But there's a fan page and a personal page. Feel free to send me a personal friend request. YouTube, you can find me at Anthony Greatness Cotton. You'll see a lot of the dance videos and stuff there. And yeah, just type in Anthony Greatness Cotton and you will find me on one of those platforms and we will connect.
Hey, there we go. Perfect. I'll put it in the description and everything below, just so you guys can find them. But yeah, man, every single show I have the guests sort of leave it off with like whether it's a major key or a tip or a little nugget, for the episode. So hey, man, I'll sort of let you, leave the audience with something to take away and execute on, to say the least.
Absolutely. Get one of these. This is a pen. Get one of these. This is a paper. Put it down. Think of and maybe it's not three things for you. For me, it's like three main things. Think of the three main things you're trying to accomplish, or maybe it's that one main thing that you're trying to accomplish. Write that thing down on a paper and write down all the other stuff that you're doing in a day, whether it be social media, playing video games, cooking, like whatever. Write down what you do in a day. Write down what you're trying to do. If those things that you're doing in a day are distracting you from that thing that's on the top of the paper, what you're trying to get accomplished, exit out, stop doing that thing. That's what I would say. Write down that ultimate goal or ultimate three goals. Write down what you do in a day and find what in your day is helping you get there and what in your day is pulling you away from there. And if there's some things that are neutral, like relaxing, you can leave that because that's not taking you there, like whatever. But if it's distracting you, like if you play 6 hours of video game, but you want to be an architect, we're going to have to go ahead and cut the video games off, or at least let's play 2 hours of video games. So figure out what in your life is getting you closer to that goal, figure out what's not, and work on taking those other things away. And it won't be an easy process. I'm not saying I'm going to snap my fingers and you're going to do it, but at least be aware of it and start working towards that.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Anthony Greatness Cotton. Hey, man, I really, really appreciate your time, and I appreciate you being on the show, brother.
Man, it's an honor. Brothers for life. Thank you for having me.
You know it, bro. Yep.